We all have heard that a child's brain is like a sponge, right? That the amount of information and learnings that they can gather in a small amount of time is immense. In the last 1.5 years, I was able to actually verify this and understand it with my son Nathan. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have all been amazed looking at a child's growth and understanding how much of learning a child can grasp and how much of knowledge a child can attain in a short amount of time, right from a child learning to crawl, to walk, to learning to speak, etc. And all this is done in a span of 2 years. And this is an incredible rate of learning that they possess. But once we grow into an adult, the rate at which we learn is limited. For us to learn a new skill or a new language or anything new takes a longer time. Part of the reason why a child is able to grasp information and learn very quickly is due to the biological difference inside the brain. As a child, there are much more neurological connections inside the brain which allows the child to grasp all the information in the surrounding. But as an adult, the brain is already developed and it particularly focuses on developing or narrowing down on particular skills. Even though there are these biological differences, there are some traits and characters in children which actually as adults we can adopt into our lives, and definitely we can see a difference in our attitude and in our results. Today I'll be discussing with you 3 traits that I learned from my son which has helped me in kind of having a different perspective in understanding. The first trait that is very characteristics of babies are perseverance. You would have seen a baby trying to walk, right? On an average it takes 2 months from the time a baby stands up to the time he walks. In these 2 months, there are a lot of repetitions that the baby goes through. Every time an iteration happens, the baby tries to get up, he tries to walk, he falls. Next time, gets up, holds something, walks for some time, falls. So this cycle is a repetitive cycle. And the baby is willing to do that on a daily basis. And within a span of 1.5 to 2 months, he is actually able to walk on his own. So this process is a continuous process that the baby goes through. Every time he does a mistake, there is a learning being registered into the brain. So it might be the posture, it might be a balancing act that is being registered. And that is how after many repetitions, he finally gets to walk. But once we develop into adults, the number of times we try a particular thing is much limited. The perseverance that we had as a child, we lose it somehow. But if we look back to history, most of the successful people have gone through this cycle of repetitions. Most famous example is Thomas Edison. See the number of times he failed. He was told by his teachers at a young age that he won't be able to study. But his perseverance of trying more than 1,000 times resulted in one of the most incredible inventions of human history, the light bulb. I have shown 3 other personalities who had very similar character of perseverance, and I would like you to comment in the comment section if you know who these personalities are. Coming to the second trait, which I think is once again unique in children and that we can try to adopt, is the lack of fear. I don't mean the lack of fear of going alone or lack of fear of darkness and so on, but it is the lack of fear of failure. There is this unique trait in children that they don't fear failure because they don't know what failure is. So before doing a particular thing or attempting a particular thing, they don't think about what if I fail or what if I am rejected by people. They don't think about what others think about me. Kids do not do that. Whenever they're trying to develop a new skill of learning or of walking, they're never bothered about failure. One of the reasons is because they have not experienced failure so early in life, so they don't have that registered inside the brain. As adults, we have failures in the past. So whenever we are trying to do something new, whenever we are trying to do something that is a bit challenging to us or something that is outside our comfort zone, the first thing the brain tries to remind you is the negative things that has happened in the past. And this is lacking in children. And that is the main reason that they don't have this fear of failure. Another reason is that they don't think what others think about me. How many times we have had this doubt in class, but we were not ready to ask in public in front of our classmates? Or we had this incredible idea that we wanted to discuss with the team, but then you didn't have the guts to raise up your hands and discuss it. All these are due to the fear of failures and rejection. And that is when we need to adapt what kids do. They never do that. This is the same thing that we need to do. Once you have that urge to ask that question or raise that idea, go ahead and do it. Because our brains give you very little time before putting the doubt into you. Because it relies on your past experience. So what we can learn from kids is that you should take out that fear of rejection and failure from your head. And only if you do that, you can actually come out of your comfort zone and do that particular activity that you're planning for so long. Who knows? Because actually the idea that you're putting out would be the best idea in the room. But if you keep it to yourself, that's never going to come out. And this is how you learn as a person, because one time you have the confidence of giving out a good idea, the next time the brain convinces you that you had done it in the past, you can do it again. In the same way, We have always kept aside some of our goals and aspirations just thinking, what would others think of me? You want to do it, but then you're not sure if your friends and relatives would accept you. This is a very limiting factor for most of us on thinking about what others would be thinking about me. The truth is, people seldom think of you because everybody thinks that they are in the spotlight and they are the center of attraction. You think that you are the center stage and everybody surrounding you is thinking about you. But this is the same with everybody. They all think they are the center stage and people are thinking about them. But no. People don't have time for that. Everybody is busy with their own schedules, their own aspirations, their own goals, their own processes of figuring out life. And that is what we need to understand as adults. If you have a goal or aspiration, go for it. Try it out. You might do well, you might not. But finally, it is the try that is important. So please, if you have aspirations and goals, if you have that one thing that you wanted to do for a long time, but it is only because of people that you haven't started, please go ahead and try it. Only then you'll understand and learn and improve. And definitely every time you iterate, it's a new learning. Unless and until you start, you won't have any of these learnings with you. And trust me, once you start, it's much easier. And these learnings can compile and slowly you can see that you're making progress. And definitely, if you don't try it, later on, this will be a regret in your life saying that I didn't even try to do that. What if I had tried? My life would have been different. This should never trouble you. 10 years down the line, you will not say that, okay, I didn't do this, so others did not complain about me. No, you're not going to think that. You'll only say that as a regret that I didn't even try this. So go ahead from today onwards, start that activity that you had in mind for a long time. Coming to the third one is curiosity. The main character that you can find in a child is curiosity. They want to know everything that is happening around them, which is true because their brains are not registered with information. So everything is new to them, right? Whether you give them a new toy, whether it's objects in the house, whether it's new people they see, their observation skills are much greater than in adults. Have you seen children opening drawers and cupboards? Why do you think that happens? It's because they think there is something inside which they want to understand or they want to find out what is hidden inside. This is a very important trait that children possess, and that is why they learn so much. But once we grow as adults, we see that this curiosity is lost. We try to learn less and less. Is it because we know everything? I don't think so, right? Because there are lots of things happening around the world which we don't know. You might be specialized in one subject with a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD, right? But you don't have the information about everything. There is something that definitely there is for you to learn and study, develop, even though it's not related to your career or not related to your path that you're specializing in. There is something there, but then we often don't do that after a certain age, right? I also was like that. I thought my master's was sufficient for me, but then that was not the case. That is when I understood that life has to be a process of continuous learning. We should always ask the question why, how, what, and so on. Babies and children, they always want to understand what is hidden. You see the experiments that they do, the creative minds that they have. Is because of this curiosity that they have in asking why, how, and what. If you look at history, once again, most of the discoveries and inventions that has happened is because of this curiosity of why and how. Isaac Newton, because he asked that one question, we were able to describe gravity and we were able to reach much higher heights in science just because of one question. So I urge every one of you to continue asking that question why, because there are many things that we don't know. So every day, take it as a challenge to learn something new. It can be 10 minutes reading every day. It can be a course that you want to learn. It can be anything new. Absorb it into you so that your minds have that ability to expand and create that environment where you can develop as a person. Who knows what you can contribute as a person in this world? So continue asking these questions, why, how, and what. Once we take these small learnings from children, I'm sure that whatever goals that you had, definitely it will be much more easier to achieve. And then you will see that progress that you're making. So if you're not started yet, do start it. What is that one thing that you wanted to start and you have been pulling back? Do start it today, do start it now. Make a decision in your mind that you're going to try it. No matter the result, how it comes out, I'm going to try it. This should be the focus for you. I hope these 3 learnings that we talked about has helped you in some way. If it has, leave a like. Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section, and do share it with whom it can be useful. So please do think about your dreams and aspirations and continue working on it. I wish you all the best and see you in the next video. Goodbye.